It's the difficult Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, a beautiful area. Tom Hessert in the top 5 in points, looking to move up, trying to catch up with a 9-time champion, Frank Kimmel, who's currently 3rd in the point standings, but he's going to have to get by Craig Goss as well as Justin Marks if he wants to make it a perfect 10. Welcome again to Long Pond, Pennsylvania and Pocono Raceway, and welcome to the ARCA Racing Series presented by Remax and Menards. It's the Weis Markets 125 presented on speed. Race number 11 for the ARCA Racing Series. 76 degrees here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Mostly sunny. We've got a few clouds lingering overhead. Nice little breeze at 7 miles an hour, keeping it just about perfect temperature for racing at Pocono. We want to take a look at our point standings after 10 races. It's Justin Marks by 45 over Craig Goss. Frank Kimmel closed the gap just a bit in qualifying. He got 15 points for winning the pole. Tom Hessert 4th in the point standings, and Patrick Sheltra down in 5th. Let's go trackside to Jim Trado.
Rick, there's been a lot to say about this season. All the youngsters, all the first-time winners here in the ARCA Racing Series. One driver knows how to get it done here at Pocono 3 times is Frank Kimmel. Winless this season, Frank, but starting from the pole, what can you do to win your 75th ARCA career race?
Well, just try to stay ahead of these kids. But the Ansel Menards forward fusion was really strong all day in practice. Qualified really well, something we haven't done in a long time here. So we're just hoping to stay in front of these guys and try to win this thing. For
the 42nd time, Frank Kimmel will start on the Menards pole presented by Ansel. Let's check in with Wendy Venturini.
Thank you, Jim. If Frank considers the rest of them kids, one of those kids might be Justin Marks. He was a first-time winner at Palm Beach earlier in the season. Our points leader by 45 points. What is your strategy going into today, Justin?
I think try to just keep this thing clean. I mean, 50 laps, it's going to be a shootout. The Construct Core Toyota was pretty good in practice, a little bit tight. I know we made it better for qualifying, so I just stood on top of the hauler and watched that truck race. It was pretty exciting. I think we're going to be in store for the same thing, so I'm excited about it.
I'm looking forward to the finish of this ARCA race. Justin Marks will start 6th.
Hello, everyone. Darrell Waltrip, Phil Parsons, Rick Allen with you once again for the ARCA Racing Series. And now we'll have a 50-lap shootout for the cars, but we got a veteran up front in Frank Kimmel. He is 1 pole away from Iggy Catone, and he's only 5 wins away from Iggy Catone in the all-time wins column. He is closing in on it, Phil.
Well, he really, and he's got momentum on his side. He's gained points just about every single race here after the second race, and he came off a great 3rd-place run last time out at Mansfield. His first pole in a long time. We talked to him in the garage area yesterday, Darrell, and he said this is as good a car he's ever had here, and he's one of the only few winners that we have in this race that has won on this racetrack.
I love this joint. It was always a challenge. There's 3 different turns. We call it a roval because it has some road racing characteristics to it. But if you can't get them in the banked end down here on turn 1, pick them up down here on the flat end. Big draft down the straightaways. It's a fun place to race. 50 laps, a lot of intensity. Got to get it done quick.
Where do you have to be good at this racetrack? Is it turn number 1?
You know, it looks to me like the tunnel turn. Seem like guys that can get across there, they get so much speed into turn 3, coming onto the front straightaway. That's a big advantage.
Momentum, another key word in the ARCA Racing Series. Let's get the engines fired. We go trackside for today's command.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the words that you've been waiting for from Brian Holt, Marketing Director of Weis Markets. Drivers, start your engines. Okay.
The engines have come to life. The drivers are all strapped in, getting ready for 50 laps here at Pocono. In 10 races, we have had 9 different winners, and 8 of them have made it to victory lane for the first time. Mikey Kyle, one of them. He was able to find victory lane at Michigan. Tom Hessert, another one. Steve Arpin's won twice this year. Craig Goss won at this racetrack just a few weeks ago. Can he get back to victory lane? That will be the question. Or will we have another first-time winner in the ARCA Racing Series? Take a look at our starting grid. Frank Kimmel with his 42nd pole on the, well, it'll be on the inside right now. He can choose. Mikey Kyle will be on the outside of him.
It looks like Frank Kimmel has chosen the inside. He's a traditionalist. He's been around here a long time. He knows that the inside used to be the way to go, Darrell.
Yeah, well, he knows if he's going to get loose, he wants to bounce into something besides the wall. And it could very well be Mikey Kyle.
Donnie Leah doing double duty. He ran the truck race just moments ago here at this racetrack.
Here's our point leader, Justin Marks, back in row number 3.
Joey Coulter fighting for that first win.
I think Frank nailed it, though. Look at all these young faces. Look at these kids in this series. There's a bunch of them.
There's Tom Hessert, a first-time winner this year. Patrick Shelter won his first race last year in Salem, Indiana.
Continue on with the starting grid. Will Kimmel relative to Frank.
Good nephew, crew chief and brother Bill's son, Will. Going to start back in row number 8.
Chad McCovey has a win in this race. He is in the field today.
Chase Mattioli, he was in the truck race earlier. He's double dipping.
Yeah, Chase was a victim of circumstances when somebody spun right in front of him.
Jerry Johnson also another one that was attempting both. Didn't get into the truck series race, but he's in this one today for the ARCA Racing Series. Take a look at our track description of this tricky triangle. 2.5 miles.
Yeah, you can see all 3 turns completely different. 14 degrees down in turns number 1 and 2. That's a copy of Trenton. Over in the second turn, the tunnel turn, that's a copy of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's a square corner. And down in turn number 3, that's a copy of the Milwaukee racetrack that's over 100 years old. Only banked 6 degrees.
He only had 3 tracks he really likes. That's why he only picked 3 turns.
And we take a look at our race analysis from Pocono Raceway.
This is one of the shortest races that the ARCA Racing Series has ever run here. Only 50 laps, 125 miles. You got to get it done quick, DW.
I think that pit window is something we might want to watch. A few cautions here. Gosh, I don't know if I'd pit or not.
And we want to spotlight a few drivers in the ARCA Racing Series. We'll begin with Wendy.
8 first-time winners in 2010. Who's going to make it the 9th winner? Can Rob Brent do it for Allgaier Motorsports? He's raced here at Pocono 5 times, has finished inside the top 10 each of those times. He's been consistent at this racetrack, and he likes this racetrack. Today, he starts 11th. He was 4th in happy hour, and I know Allgaier Motorsports is here in Pocono as well as in Iowa for the nationwide race, watching it right now on Speed. Jim?
Wendy, Donnie Leah just got out of his Camping World Truck Series truck, so he has recent experience here in the car, number 55. That team is the only team this season to win twice. Everybody else has just won once with driver Steve Arpin. He has a chance, does Donnie Leah, to win here with a race car that's brand new out of the Venturini stables. This car is a brand new chassis they did in-house. They're very excited about their chances. And Donnie Leah's first trip here to Pocono is a double dipper coming out of the truck with that experience and this winning effort for Tony Liberati and the guys. Keep an eye on the 55. Who do you think's got a chance to win for the first time, Phil?
Jim, I think my guy is that 16 truck, the Rip It Chevrolet of Joey Coulter. He's finished second 4 times already in his young career. He's only 20 years old. He finished 4th in points last year. He's back in 10th in points right now. He's had 2 seconds this year. He's looking for win number 1. He finished 4th here last year. He has some great experience here at this racetrack. He's my choice, DW, for maybe the next first-time winner.
Well, I'm going to roll the dice here a little bit, and I'm going to go with my old buddy Larry McReynolds' son, Brandon. Brandon is 19 years old, and he's starting up there in the 4th position in that car number 6 for Eddie Sharp Racing. Got a great sponsor, Global Wireless. That's a tracking system. If you got kids and you want to know where they are, you better get you one of those doodads and put it on their car, because it tracks your car all over wherever it may be. So I'm pulling for Brandon, and hope he has a great day.
As the field makes their way through the tunnel turn, getting ready for the start of this race. Let's go back to pit road and Jim Trado.
Guys, this being one of the shortest races that ARCA has raced here in Pocono, 50 laps, just like the truck race we just watched here on Speed. What is the strategy? These teams are planning on about lap 15 on to be safe for maybe a one-stop race. X factor is the tires. They've got a spare set of tires in the pits. The teams may come down for 2 or 4 on that early pit stop. See how things shake out. See how many cars are on the lead lap. So pit strategy and this sprint format should be exciting to watch. Wendy?
One of our regular competitors, Patrick Sheltra, qualified 10th, but he will be starting in the rear of the field today due to an engine change yesterday with some water in the oil from yesterday's practice. Now, I talked to Patrick. He said he realizes this is an all-out shootout. 50 laps, he's got to lay it on the line. He has no time to waste. When that green flag falls, watch for Patrick Sheltra to make his way to the front.
Starting in the 10th position, he's got a few guys he'll have to get around to get to the front, but Patrick Shelton needs to make a move if he wants to challenge for this championship in 2010. Frank Kimmel in 3rd in the points position, but right on the pole. Green flag in the air.
Oh, trouble already.
Behind him, we've got cars jockeying to stay out of the way. Smoke rolling out from behind the 55 of Arpin.
I tell you what happened.
Not Arpin. That's the Donnie Leah driving that car.
He missed his shift, and I tell you what else he did. He missed his shift and blew up his engine. He saw the smoke coming out of it, and so far no caution. But I don't see how in the world Leah will make it all the way back around.
Meanwhile, Frank Kimmel leads the field down into the tunnel turn. Craig Ghost right now running in the 2nd position. It doesn't look like Donnie Leah there's any way that he's going to be able to get that car back around. He's just about stalled out now, and he has 2 miles to go.
Yeah, he blew. Phil, I guarantee, missed his shift big time, and saw smoke boil out of it.
And the caution has now come out as Donnie Leah again almost stopped in turn number 1.
Just remember, Rick, he just got out of the truck race. You're in a vehicle, you're in a truck. Things are a little bit different in the cockpit, shifting a little bit different. Things are just a little wee bit different. Probably had a problem here on the start of the race.
Let's take another look at this restart.
It's amazing that he didn't turn around. Now watch this. He's going to be back in about the 3rd row on the inside. See him right there. Boy, he dove to the right-hand side too.
Did he break the tires free?
No, I think what happened was, I think when he went for 3rd gear, I think he may have actually put it in 1st gear, locked the rear wheels up, and the car started to spin or try to spin.
See him right there, obviously, and it does, and already smoke coming out of the tailpipes as well. That looks like exactly what you see, Darrell. He missed 3rd gear, he went into 1st gear.
I think that's what happened.
Take a look at the onboard of Joey Coulter and what he saw at this start.
Watch now, he's right behind the 55 of Donnie Leah. There he is right there. Now Joey Coulter's going to dive to the left side. Good heads-up move by him to avoid that 55.
If you notice closely, you'll see the rear wheels hopping up and down. That tells you that he went to 1st gear and got the rear wheels bouncing.
And no telling how many RPMs that engine turned.
It's in the ignition system. It's supposed to stop it at a certain point. But when you put it into 1st gear,
yeah, it'll run by it pretty quick.
It went right by. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Long Pond, Pennsylvania. There's the 41 of Dylan Moltz.
That's a familiar paint scheme, don't you think, DW?
No, that's Richard Petty's car.
Is that Richard Petty's car?
Darrell's seen that paint scheme. See, I was inside. I didn't get to see the scheme.
And sure enough, we have the King joining us. And I noticed you got your Hall of Fame ring on. That looks awfully nice. Congratulations on that.
Darrell, might let you wear it sometime. Let Darrell wear it.
Richard Petty joining us because of we see Dylan Moltz on the racetrack. He won his opportunity to be on the track today.
Yeah, we had a driving search back in, I don't know, a month or 2 ago. And, you know, they was like 12 different guys. They come from all over. In fact, one guy come all the way from Australia. But this boy happened to be from Connecticut, and he come in. And we do cup running at Charlotte. They do road courses in South Carolina. We did some USAC midget stuff, some go-kart deal, and then Kyle came in one day and they did interviews and stuff like this to kind of tell the guys, you know, don't be nervous, just be yourself, do what they say and all this kind of stuff. So each one of these segments we give points for, and you know, this boy just wound up with the most points. Not that he was the best driver, the best talker, or whatever. The combination, we just felt like we was looking for a combination driver. You know, nowadays it's not your driving ability or not just your personality. It's a combination of what you can do for the sponsors and what you can do for NASCAR and what you can do for the car owner. So he was our best all-around deal. A lot of them guys was really good drivers, or they wouldn't have come in the first place. But you know, the deal was just like a driver's search deal. Instead of just saying, okay, just go out and run by yourself and drive the race car. We wanted a whole personality, and so, you know, even the guys that didn't win this deal wound up winners because they got all that experience, different kinds of racetrack, different circumstances, and then they got their PR part thrown in there that the majority of them probably never been interviewed, period. And all of a sudden, you know, Kyle and them go through all the thing and tell them what's going on, and it's just going to make them so much easier. They'll be so much better when they go back home to their own racetracks for their sponsors and for their own tracks.
And this series is such a good venue for that too, Richard. Here, this ARCA Racing Series, because of the broad spectrum of the racetracks that they run on.
It really is. It gives them all kinds of experience on short tracks, medium tracks, super speedways, and then,
even dirt tracks for the ARCA Racing Series.
And that's good. And because if you got a driver, you want a well-rounded driver. He has to drive all kinds of racetracks and all different circumstances. So, you know, we're going to do this thing again in September. So anybody wants to join up.
Green flag back in the air as Frank Kimmel brings the field back to the green flag. Craig Ghost running second. Mikey Kyle, Brandon McReynolds, and Justin Marks are your top 5. King, I'd love for you to stay with us if you'd like for a segment. You want to hang out with us, you sure can.
Justin Marks was trying to get by Brandon McReynolds there. Good battle for the 4th position.
And as quickly as I say that, the King wants to run. So thank you. He wants to watch the race and watch Dylan.
He's got a car in the race, man.
He wants to watch Dylan. Completely understand. He's a car owner.
Thanks for dropping by, Richard. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard. Justin Marks able to take over that 4th position from Brandon McReynolds.
I think you'll see that good bit out of Brandon right now. I think Brandon's looking for experience. And Larry has told him, I've told him, all of us have, but Brandon, just run the whole race. That's the main thing. That's your goal for today, is run the whole race.
See him fanning out as they come out onto the front stretch and work their way into turn number 1.
Going to try to make that pass back on the 32 of Justin Marks. Down in the bottom. Watch that truck. Watch how rough it is down there. See that truck bouncing.
Got to remember about Brandon. I mean, he is almost a full-blown rookie. I mean, he's only had a couple of ARCA races. He has run in the UARA series and done pretty well there, but he's got a lot to learn.
There's a car, 77 car of Tom Hessert there. He was one of our first-time winners this year. That's incredible. 8 first-time winners in 10 races.
It's about 80%, I think.
Just about.
I'll tell you what, when you talk about a Kimmel and ARCA racing, I mean, that's like a flashback. It's like Back to the Future. His dad was a great ARCA racer. The family has won so many championships on races. And here he is just smoking them.
Rob Brent was able to get by the 16 of Joey Coulter, so Coulter a little bit out of the groove.
Looked like Joey went a little bit wide and got out of the groove. That allowed Rob Brent to take another look at it. You see Tom Hessert's down on the bottom. See Joey Coulter got a little bit loose and then got off the grip strip there up into the loose stuff. Did a nice job of saving that car, but the 36 of Rob Brent able to get by.
Yeah, push loose right there. And of course, I think the guys are probably shocked that the grip strip has lost as much grip as it has. That's the strip formerly known as a grip strip.
There's Dakota Armstrong trying to make his way by the 16 of Joey Coulter.
Tight turn there. As Dakota Armstrong has the advantage now through the short chute.
See, right there's where you got to be a smart driver. The 22's got position on you. Don't stick that nose up there just enough to wreck both of you. Let that guy in front of you follow him, and you'll get him back later on if your car's good.
Here's Patrick Shelter, the 60 car. Wendy reported that he had to go to the back of the pack because of an engine change. He's trying to make his way by the 41 car. That's the Richard Petty car we were just talking about.
Dylan Moltz driving that car.
And I like the program. I like the program because, as Richard said, it's not just about how good of a driver are you, but you got to do interviews and you got to be versatile. And that a well-rounded race car driver is what all these sponsors are looking for.
At the start of this race, Donnie Leah had problems on the initial start. Jim Trado, what they find out?
Well, Billy Venturini, the team principal, told me he thought the car was stuck between gears. They tried pushing it up pit road. They put it behind the wall instead with a transmission failure. So cooked it on the start for Donnie Leah in the 55. He's done.
Yeah, that problem stemmed from putting in first gear instead of third gear on that initial start of the race.
And listen, that can happen to anybody. I've seen the best of them have that happen. There's such a close gate there between going from second up to third. If you happen not to shove that shifter to the right a little bit, get it through that gate, it'll go right back into first gear.
And so much is going on right then. You get ready to start the race. You're trying to stay in line, try not to spin the tires, and all of a sudden, what you think is just a normal everyday move up to third gear, and you don't get across that gate.
And you hit it on the head there. A lot of times when you spin the tires a little bit, you'll quickly shift because you want to get out of that gear to stop the wheel spin, and that rushing sometimes will get it up in first gear.
Rob Brent takes 6th away from Tom Hessert. So Rob Brent moves up into the 6th spot. Hessert in the 77 back in 7th. But it's all Frank Kimmel out in front of the field. We've completed 8 laps on number 9, and it's been Frank Kimmel in front all 9 laps. Can he continue on and get that elusive victory? It would be the 45th of his career. Series 125 from Pocono Raceway. I'd mentioned 45. It's actually 75 wins is what Frank Kimmel is going to be looking for if he gets to victory lane.
You only cheated him out of 30 wins. That's a lot of wins,
isn't it, Darryl? He would be very, very mad if I
think he's won 45 here.
Yeah, pretty much. There's the battle for second. Craig Goss in front of Mikey Kyle. But how about the career for Frank Kimmel? Second all-time to Iggy Catone in this series. He has 79 wins.
You see, it's been 34 races since Frank's last win. I think he's just around the corner. If not today, Wendy, that next win is just around the corner.
Well, here's a little stat that might put things in the favor of Frank Kimmel. The last 2 times he started on the pole here at Pocono, he's gone on to win in those 2 races. So Frank Kimmel has the odds stacked in his corner. He's raced the chassis carry, they like to call it. Finished 6th at Texas and 5th in Pocono 8 weeks ago. Right now, Frank Kimmel is really tight, but out front, it doesn't look too bad.
And already starting to put a few cars a lap down as we've just completed our 11th lap and on lap 12.
Now, really tight, you can live with that for a while, but what happens is you'll start building a bunch of air pressure in that right front tire. You start leaning on that tire, build that pressure up, and it's going to push, and pretty soon you're going to have someone like this 81 car eating your lunch.
It wasn't just a couple laps ago when Frank had over a 1-second lead. Now Craig Goss within a couple car lengths of Frank. Mikey Kyle not that far back in 3rd either.
Yeah, you make that right front tire mad, Rick, by leaning on it, pushing on it, pushing on it. Pressure builds up, you lose grip.
Bobby Gerhart in the 5 and the 60 of Patrick Shelter. Those two working on the 13th and 14th positions.
Patrick's made a nice move from the back of the pack from the start here. He's going to the bottom. See if he can make the move by Bobby Gerhart.
Patrick Shelter changed the motor after qualifying.
Right on around. That bottom is you know, that's kind of like the way we used to race here, using the bottom of the turn and get through turn 3 pretty good like that. Turn 1 has changed quite a bit because of the big bumps that are down there. You see how high the guys run. We used to run right on the white line around that turn.
Just a couple seconds ago this happened. There's Brandon McReynolds. Here goes Rob Brent by. Now Justin Marks going to make it 3 wide. Then Rob Brent goes to the middle. Now Brandon goes to the middle. Here comes Tom Hessert. 3 wide on the outside.
Yeah, Brandon was just being real cautious there. He ran up on those cars. He wasn't real sure what to do. Someone showed him what to do, and he followed him.
Here comes Justin Marks trying to get by Brandon McReynolds.
Tom Hessert, the 77, now out in front of Brandon. That's a battle for the fifth position right there.
I really believe, obviously I work with Larry, but I really believe Brandon has what it takes. I believe given the opportunity, he could turn into a great little driver. He's got the ability. He knows that Larry's taught him about the cars. He understands how to work on the car, and he has the ability to drive it. I like that.
And he's been racing such a long time with obviously with the Legends cars and the Bandolero cars that you're able to start racing so much earlier. And I know Larry was telling me the other day, he said we used to go to Charlotte Motor Speedway during the summer shootout. For 9 years we did that every Tuesday night, and it's paid off.
You know who his coach is? Joey Logano.
That's a pretty good coach.
And Logano are tight.
Yeah, there's the young man with a lot of potential. How about Justin Marks leading Brandon McReynolds now around the racetrack? Jim.
Real quick, guys, Justin Marks just radioed to the crew. The car is extremely tight. They tried to free it up for qualifying. It was tight in practice, tight in his mock run, so he's now just gathering back that momentum to get by Brandon McReynolds, who on Thursday, guys, you mentioned Joey Logano. That was his driver in a passenger car here on Thursday to show Brandon McReynolds how to get around here at Pocono.
Pretty amazing, though, to think that Joey Logano is instructing someone at his early age.
Well, he's much older than Brandon. He's 20.
Yeah. Brandon McReynolds running in the 7th spot. Again, all chasing Frank Kimmel. The gap between first and second remains about a half a second. Frank Kimmel holding on to the top spot. Craig Goss in the 2nd position. Mikey Kyle, Rob Brent, Tom Hessert are your top 5 from Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. And front of this field. He's been there every lap. We've completed 16 on 17.
Guys, we have a new second place car right now. The 25 of Mikey Kyle was able to get by the 81 of Craig Gose. Let's see if we can take a look back and see how this happened. There they go through the tunnel turn. Look at the momentum that the 25 gets off that tunnel turn.
That just seems to be the key to getting around here quick. If you can get across that turn, it just sets you up so much better for the third turn leading out on the front straightaway.
Those were the two cars that battled for the win here. Looked like Mikey Kyle back in June dominated the race. Craig Gose was on pit road when a late caution flag came out, was able to do his pit work, get back on the racetrack. Mikey Kyle then had to come in on the subsequent caution flag. That gave the track position to Craig Gose, and he was able to get that win.
That's a perfect world when you can get on pit road, get your work done, and a caution comes out, and no one else is pitted.
And then they went to Michigan. It was just the other way around. Mikey Kyle got the win when Craig Gose had the dominant car.
Jim Trado.
Mikey Kyle led 67 laps here back in June. I said, what'd you change about the setup? He said, not much, but I'm more comfortable, and this car is faster through the tunnel turn. That's what he told me before the race. He mentioned there's no grip in the center right now, but you saw how well he powered up for turn 2 into the third corner. Mikey Kyle very happy with his race car. Just had a bit of lack of grip in the center right now, but off the tunnel turn is where they keyed on and where he's making up some time.
You know what's absolutely incredible to me as we watch this battle for the lead with Frank Kimmel and the 25 and Mikey Kyle. This is the first race this year. Look at that run that Mikey Kyle gets off the tunnel turn. The first race this year that Frank Kimmel has led, Darrell.
That's unbelievable. As good as that car is and as great a driver as he is, and his first laps he's led, that tells you one thing. He's got an awesome car today.
And he has a lot of competition in this series, too.
Yeah, he made that known to us yesterday. He thought he had a great race car here.
See, a little bit older driver versus some of these kids. Kids want to lead races. I mean, they'll lead races. They'd rather lead a lap sometime than to win. You know, they go home and say, I led some of the race. A guy like Frank, leading's not the most important thing to him. Finishing is the most important thing to him.
Frank Kimmel looks as though at this point in time in the season that he is really in the driver's seat for this championship because he's so smooth, and we get to a point in this season where he's going to go to a mile dirt track, some short tracks where he is so good, and he's, you know, closing in on the points one.
Since that first race at Daytona when he finished in the 25th spot, his worst finish is 12th. He's had a 12th and an 11th. The rest of the finishes all in the top 10. For the last 5 races, he's finished in the top 5.
Here's your top 3. You can almost throw a blanket over the top of these 3. We've got Frank Kimmel out in front of Mikey Kyle, then Craig Gose.
The other good thing about Frank is there's not a track you go to where he doesn't know how to get around. Whether it's the dirt at Springfield or the half mile at Salem, Indiana, here, Daytona, Talladega, he just knows.
DuQuoin, another one of those racetracks that they will go to.
Going to those dirt track races and watching any kind of cars race is just a lot of fun. And we got a guy, got that 25, Mikey Kyle, looking for a way to get around old Frank here.
We'll see if he can use the momentum to get by Frank Kimmel. They race down Long Pond straightaway.
I like the way that 44 handles down the straightaway, I'll tell you that.
Frank told us yesterday, Darrell, that he had a rocket ship under the hood. He said the Roush Yates guys really gave him an incredible motor from here.
Well, you can see it too. He saw it down that long straightaway back there, Long Pond straightaway. Really shot down through there. Pulled the 25 of Kyle just a little bit on the straightaway.
And remember, this is not the FR9, the new engine that Ford has. This is the old engine that they've been running. But Mikey Kyle is going to try to pull to the inside here, coming off 3.
Let's see. Here's where you can see who's got what. This is a good little drag race right here.
Mikey Kyle slides way to the bottom of the racetrack. Kimmel stays up high. The race into turn number 1. He doesn't have him cleared yet. Mikey Kyle has the nose out front. Kimmel battling on the outside, but Kyle takes the position.
You can see Kimmel's car has just gotten a little tight, Phil. He just can't quite get it up off of turn 1 there. And then the 25 seems to really be free and coming up out there nice.
Dakota Armstrong by Brandon McReynolds.
Yeah, Brandon is just falling back to A spot here. Looks like his car's real tight too.
Armstrong takes the 7th spot away from McReynolds.
Trying to chase down that 32 of Justin Marks for the 6th position.
Here was moments ago with Justin Marks and Brandon McReynolds.
As a 75
that
Chastain.
75 car got in between the two of them. Brandon gets a little, that's how you can tell he's a little tight. He's pushy loose when he gets down low like that.
But that cost him the momentum to lose that position all the way over on the other side of the racetrack.
Yep.
And Craig Gose is taken away second from Frank Kimmel. Mikey Kyle out in front. Maybe a little redemption at this racetrack. Mikey Kyle wants the win. Craig Ghost stole it from him earlier. He's coming back after it. Along with Benny Chastain on that AARP number 75.
Good looking car out of the Bob Shack stable.
Bob Shack actually won the first ARCA race on this configuration.
And a bunch of races. Bob Shack won a lot of races here at this racetrack. Mikey Kyle's going to try to win his first race here at this racetrack.